what he was doing is he'd run up to the fence and push up, and like he was trying to bite me.
Oh, he's like,
And so
what this big raccoon doing over here?
right? And so
You get this
she
possum
starts
on the wall.
she starts swinging the broom, like she's poking me and swinging, and I'm ready to curse at her because the dog is
It's
trying
like
to
when you
bite me.
see a raccoon or something, you're like, poke him, fall
Right?
over.
So I'm like, man, lady, you know what? I'm gonna fall down, you know. And she's like, that's the point, you know.
First, my name is George. This is Uncle Rich. And today on Shift Over, we have a new guest.
Danny, nice to meet you guys.
All right.
Welcome, Danny.
And Danny, do you want to let the audience know where you work, what type of work you do? You don't have to say the name of the company,
Right.
but just let us know.
So I work for the cable industry and been doing that for 16 years. I'm still out on the field, doing the installation and service trouble calls. So yeah, 16 years already.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a long time, but did it
building
go by
a
fast?
career, yeah. Actually, time flies. It just feels like I started a couple of years ago, but it's interesting and definitely making a career out of it.
You know what's funny is the visitors so far, it's pretty much the same. Like, oh, I feel like I was just there for a short period of time.
Yeah.
By the time I looked up, years have gone by.
Yeah.
Right. Or I was just gonna be a stepping stone to my next job, and well, years later, here
Right.
I am,
Yeah, exactly. You don't think that you're gonna stay there and make a career out of it. Next thing you know, taking courses and your kids are grown up. So, but yeah, it's been good so far.
Awesome. So the show here, we come along and figured, we have a lot of stories to share.
Mhm.
You've been, who knows, how many homes throughout the years in 16
Right.
years. So the show here, we've had a few guests where we share. I've shared some. Uncle Rich has shared some stories
Yeah.
about the things we've seen.
Right.
The things that other people don't see, the commoners, common people, they don't see all these little things.
Right.
Obviously, they put their experiences on the internet, like, oh, this guy came to my house and he did this and this and that. But that's through the customer's point of view, right?
Right.
So, and now we're sharing our side of the story.
Correct.
Like, I went to a house and this is what I saw at this customer's house. So we're turning the tables a little.
And again,
Right.
I mean, not to bash nobody. It's just an experience, right? And
Experiences, yeah.
customers or potential customers that can get the insight, our
Yes.
point of view, and maybe understand a little bit more as things can be misunderstood. We said we
Mhm.
get to a home, they're not sure. We start walking them through. It gets frustrating. They could get angry. They're not
Yeah,
prepared.
so many
these types
different
of things.
examples. Yeah, exactly. For the most part, I want to say 95% of the time, they're good experiences.
That's
Really,
good.
really
That's good.
nice
Yeah,
people out
right.
there.
Yeah.
They welcome you. You want a water, you want coffee. Please come in, sit down. Let me.
You want some food?
You want some food. Let me explain what my problem or my needs are.
Has
and
anybody
today-
ever cooked for you?
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
People make burritos, sandwiches, just all kinds of different things. But for the main part, it's just you want to drink, and then that's really nice.
Well,
They
that's
make you
nice.
feel-
the
they make
water
you
hose
feel
is
good.
out front.
I get those too. Or you get the ones where you spend 4 or 5 hours sometimes at a job and not even a water bottle.
You're super dirty because you were
You're
crawling in
super
the
dirty,
attic,
sweating,
crawling under a house.
and not even do you want a glass of water? Do you want nothing?
It's more like, did you fix it already?
yes, exactly. Like,
And
are you
before you
almost
go,
done? You've been here for 4 hours. What's going on?
Like,
Instead-
I gotta go.
right? And like I want to be there for 4
Well, they're
hours,
like, hey, you've been here for 4 hours.
right? Sipping on it, yeah, exactly. On a
Or
cold
go.
on a cold beer,
Don't open the
yeah,
soda.
exactly.
They bring a water you think it's for you, and
They just open it right there in front of you. But
that happened to me one
Dump
time.
out the
yeah,
rest.
you learn your lessons. That's why you have to be ready out in the field, with your water, or soda or whatever you drink, you know. But you have to be ready for that.
So I'll tell you a quick story that happened to me, and it was about regarding that. So, yeah, I was installing at a house internet service, cable service, and it was really hot. It was, I want to say,
How
like,
hot was it?
probably like 90 degrees.
Mhm.
So I had to go into the attic, you know, do a bunch of different things. I was running around the house, you know, connecting things, cables and everything, and it was pretty hot. So this guy comes with a water like that, sweating, and you know, he's
Wait,
like
sweating from the fridge or
from the
was it sitting on it? What's going on?
It's just
All right,
how
just-
cold it is.
all
So he comes along and he just stands there with the water, right? So here, I'm gonna take your water really quick. So he's just holding it right there. He's like, man, it's freaking hot out here. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking at the water like, oh, is he gonna offer me that water, right? And he's like, man, I don't know how you guys do it. He pops it open and drinks it. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's we gotta, you know,
Yeah.
it's part of the job.
It's part of the
what
job.
we do.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, man, kudos to you. I'm like, well, thank you. And then I told him, oh, I'll be back. I got to grab some tools for my truck. So I always carry water.
Yeah.
So I went to my truck and I
Yeah.
drank some water.
But you thought it was gonna be for you, huh? But for the most part, most customers are really nice though. They
Oh, yeah.
do offer water, you know, and take a break. You know, they're like, hey, you know, just take your time. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, other than that, it's good.
All right. Well,
Yeah. So in this show, we have a little thing going on.
right.
And let's show you really quick. So we have this little spin idea contraption. So you have different I guess not activities, but themes. So go ahead and spin it so the audience can see it. Oh, come on, you can spin it better than that. Come on, Danny.
Oh.
Don't break the mic. There you go. All
What do we
right,
got?
what'd you get?
Pets.
Pets. All right, everybody,
Yeah,
pets.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Do you remember anything?
Oh
with
yeah.
pets?
I got bit once by I don't know what kind of dog it was.
What kind of call was this?
It was a trouble call.
Trouble call. What was the problem?
I think I was there to replace a cable box.
Okay.
And customers were really nice. You know, he said, "Yeah, we put the dog away. He's inside a room."
What kind of dog was it?
To be honest, it was like a mix. It was in
A mutt.
It was a mutt. Yeah.
Big or small though?
It was medium size. You know, not too big, not too small. But I didn't see him at this point because he was in the room. So
When you went, did they ask you to put the booties, the shoe covers
No,
before you went in?
no,
Okay.
no.
I just
No.
say that because we talked about
Right. No.
a lot of times you get, like, hey, really?
You
Your
get
dog's
those
over there dragging
customers.
his butt on the floor, and I got to put on the booties. But
Yeah.
like George says, more to protect our boots than anything.
than the floor. Yeah. No, this time, customer was really nice. You know, they were ready to go. Like, you know, we put the dog away. Please come in. You know, you're good. So he starts telling me what the problem is. You know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, let's go ahead and take care of it. So the next thing you know, the son opens the door to get out of the room,
And that's when the dog.
and that's
is-
when the dog
Oh,
comes out.
Young, older,
It was a young kid. Yeah, probably like 13, 12.
so he wasn't 33 playing Xbox at 1 o'clock.
Not that one. Yeah, but
Alright.
we've seen those
Okay.
plenty of
Alright.
times, right? So yeah, next thing you know, the dog comes out, you know, right past his leg. You know, just no bark, nothing, just straight to my stomach.
Ooh.
And then he's stuck on there. You know, I'm trying to get
Wait,
him out.
he
because-
jumped up and just
yeah,
latched
he jumped.
on?
Yeah, he just latched on, and just trying to get him off. Customers grabbing him, and
Like
customers-
literally just locked
like,
on
just
there?
locked on my in
like
front
a
of my
cartoon
stomach.
looking
Yeah,
thing.
and so the customer grabs him, takes him away, and then he says, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I don't know what happened, you know, but you do what you have to do, you know. So he was
And at
yeah,
that
he
point,
was worried
at
about
that
me.
point,
He
you
was like,
whipped
"Are
the
you
dog,
okay?"
right?
Yeah.
You do what you got.
So he was like, you know, we'll pay for whatever he needs to, you know, medical bills or
Oh,
whatever.
that's cool.
But how
Yeah.
bad was the bite though?
It wasn't bad, you
No,
know.
he didn't pierce the skin?
No, I think he was stuck on my shirt. But there was a scratch, but nothing serious.
Now these types of, I mean, like, do you report this, or how does that work?
I immediately call my supervisor.
Okay.
You know, call my supervisor, told him what happened. So he says, "You want to go to the clinic and get it checked out?" You know, of course. You know, it's bleeding a little bit. There's a little blood right there. So I'm like, yeah, let's go get it checked out just to make sure. But the customer was really nice. You know, throughout the whole deal. He was just like, if you need me to take you, I'll take you. I'll sign whatever.
They didn't take the dog to the vet just to make sure he's okay?
No, and I didn't want to make a big deal. You know, when the customers are that nice,
dog, not you. Go check the dog for rabies.
No, not that time. But But it was a yeah.
And
So
I've known Danny forever, so we always joke around.
We joke around.
That,
so. You were bleeding when you got here, sir. I don't want to say
yeah,
that.
I know, right?
Like, do you have a steak in there? Let my dog run to you.
Press not the breakfast burrito.
He's never done that before. You got some dog treats in there. What the hell's going on?
Do you carry dog treats? Anything like while you're working? No.
You know, I always thought about that too. Like, should I carry some? But
a couple of dog treats.
I always forget.
You know what? At that point, you don't know if the customer's gonna, because there's customers that love the dog like kids.
Yeah.
You know, like they're children, and you don't want to, what if the dog gets sick or
that's true. Or they're sensitive to
they're
something,
sensitive
and then
something happens.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, that's why I never kind of brought any either.
But other than that, I'm usually good with dogs. Unless it's like a pit bull or something like that. Then put them away. Yeah.
Well, that's a really good one, especially pets. It's hard to control them. We always try to tell the people, hey, even when they call them ahead of time, they let them know, hey, can you just put them away?
Yeah.
Just so even if they're nice, just so they're not around, because
you just never know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're walking around,
or you leave the door open, the dog gets out, gets hit by a car. Then what?
Oh yeah,
I've seen that.
Or they just run away.
So I've had that, too. Where they run away.
Exactly. So I had one myself where, as soon as I get there, I knock on the door, and this lady comes out. She opens the door. She's like, "Oh, let me put my dogs away." So I'm like, "Okay." So she's over there trying to wrestle them, like it's a little dogs, and she had like 3 or 4 of them. I forgot. So as soon as she opens the door, a little bit more because she thought they were already behind her. One of them comes out running. So when that first one came out running, her immediate reaction was like, "Oh crap, let me go grab him." And she left the door open. So here comes the other ones. And I'm like, "Oh, what the hell?" So then I'm like over there chasing some on one side of the street, and she's chasing the other ones on the other side of the street. And then I come back with 2 of them, and she's like, all right. I got mine. I got these over here. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So then we put them in the house, and I'm like, well, let me introduce myself. I'm here to fix your services.
There goes your hour and a half, huh?
Well, I was gone.
Yeah, but they ran like, I want to say almost a block and a half away.
So I went to this house one time, right? There was a lady, and knock, boom, boom. You say your spiel. I'm here. Fix this. She was like, hold on, let me put my dog away. And usually that's in my, whole get down at the beginning. Any loose dogs, large loose dogs, can you put them away?
Right.
Some people are really, really cool about it. Others get a little bit defensive or almost bothered.
My dog is fine.
Right? How dare you? You know what I'm saying? Well, he's never bit
dog
somebody.
Is a perfect dog.
Right, until he bites you, right?
Yeah.
So I get there and put the dog away. Introduce myself, walk in, don't see the dog, put it away. Show me the problem. It was a box. Okay, we get to talking. I'm gonna go outside, start with a few tests, get some stuff, and then I'll be back. So so she goes. I think she was cooking. So she leaves. I go back outside, and I'm in my van, getting the stuff. And there's this dog. It's like a husky, and it comes up, and I'm like, oh shit, like, hey, get out of here, And he keeps coming. He starts to kind of growl, but not too crazy. So I'm like swinging, and I get my glove and I'm trying to, get the hell out of here,
Mm-hmm,
So I'm starting to walk him down, get out of here, come back in, I get my stuff.
And where's the customer this whole time?
Customer's inside, right? Because
okay.
I've already did the spiel, I come out, I get my stuff. So I go to start doing the tests. You know, you get down on your knees. For those that don't know, sometimes you have what's called a tap that feeds the home. That's where we activate and
Out on
address some
out on the
issues.
street.
Yeah. So
So
It-
basically, what they see on the poles, but
down on,
there's
underground.
yeah.
Underground
Exactly, right?
by the sidewalk.
So I go to the tap, which happens to be the next house down, and it's out in the street front, in a little grass, little patch of grass. So I get there, I start doing the work. Here comes a dog. Dog's right behind me. Oh, wow! I slap it. It's right here on my,
In the
like,
middle of
hey,
the
what the
street.
hell? He's slapped the dog. Get out of here. Won't get out. He's right there, kind of growling. But I don't know. Do you want to play? Do you want to bite me? I don't know. I'm trying to concentrate, but I'm looking over my shoulder. So he keeps coming back, and finally, I get up and I try to walk him down. Hey, say what the hell, whatever you're doing. Picked up some rocks, I tossed them, kind of like, hey, because I don't know, I don't want him to bite me, like on my back's
Like
turned
if it
to
was a
him.
toy here, go get
Nah,
the rock.
little rocks, not a brick them, So okay, so I get back down, I'm doing my thing. Here he comes again, so like this. So I button it up, go back. Now I'm at the side of the house, right? There's a little right where on the side, usually by the garage, there's a little panel we can do checks there and address any issue. It's just part of the testing, right? So I go there and start to do my thing, and here comes a dog again. And this time, now he's getting more
More
aggressive.
aggressive.
And I'm just like, man, what is the deal? So I get there's some paper there. I roll up some paper and I start to like, man, I'm kind of waving this at him while I'm trying to work, and this dog won't go. So I walk him back down. He starts to take off. All right, cool. I come back in. I start doing the stuff. So then I finish there, and I go inside and I start doing my job, and then she says, oh, I haven't heard my dog. Let me go check on my dog. So she goes and checks, and she comes back. Oh my God, my dog got out. Is he here? And I was like, no, I didn't see nobody. And so I was like, well, what's the dog like? I'm thinking, if he comes out, should I be afraid? So she starts describing him, and I was like, oh shit, hey, your dog's out front. You know what I mean? That was her dog. Yes,
Yeah,
the dog went out the back, right? No, actually, I was hitting with the paper. No, so it was her dog this whole time.
Got harmed.
No. That's what for me, now I start to understand why it started to get more aggressive. I was getting closer to the house, and then at that point, I was at the house. So he was.
And can you see the dog like running to the house?
Well, but I thought he was coming at me the whole time, and apparently, when I think about it, maybe he was trying to like, hey, I need to get in the back gate where I came out of.
Exactly.
But I'm not thinking
Let
this.
me in there.
Yeah,
bro.
you're on the way.
Right, and I'm over here shooing him away, and like, get the hell out of here,
Like,
because her dog
No wonder
was
he was
locked
getting
up,
more
aggressive.
right? So it was just funny to me that the whole time this is her dog. She thought her dog was locked up. That he got out, went around the back, came out front. So
they want to greet you. Oh, you want to spin another one? See what
Yeah,
other
let's do it.
what other
Go for it.
selection you get. All right, there we go. Let's face it over there so they can see. What you got? Hoarders.
Hoarders.
Oh, that's been a very
You
popular
see-
one.
Hoarders, you see at least maybe one every week.
How about this one? I which is kind of like the opposite of a hoarder. I went to a house one day where knock on the door. It was kind of like a style ranch type of house up in the mountain, and they had a bunch of things on the outside. So they had cabinets and things like that on the outside of the house, and I thought, oh, that's kind of weird, but some people always throw things in the and there. It's like a junkyard, right? Sometimes.
Exactly.
So this one I thought was gonna be a hoarder house when I got there, because
Everything was out.
everything
the
is
whole
outside.
mess outside.
exactly. So I knock on the door. This gentleman comes out, older guy, and I look in the house and it's empty. Like there was only a couple of chairs, the things on the walls, picture frames and things like that. And I'm thinking, what the hell? And then I turn around, and I'm like, the house is empty, but everything's outside. Like I'm like, okay, maybe they're doing something, right?
Remodeling, you never know.
Yeah, so then as I'm working, I walk up to the TV. I connect my meter that we use, to check signal coming in from the outside. And I'm just standing there while them test is running, and then I just hear, and I'm like, what the hell was that? So I turn around, I don't see anything, and then I hear it again, right? Just little right. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then out of nowhere, I see this big old rat just running across the living room, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? So it caught me off guard, right? And I'm just like wondering what the hell's going on here. So then the guy comes over, and he says, "Oh, yeah, we took everything outside because we have a
rat infestation.
rat infestation."
Oh my god!
And then that made sense to me. Like, oh, no wonder everything's in the front yard. But then you look at the things in the front yard, it looks like they've been there forever, at least a month, right? Because you can
it's
see,
just like the customer that says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're moving in or we're moving out."
yeah,
But
which is a common theme.
Exactly, is a common theme.
She's a mess. We just moved in.
Yeah, she's a mess.
Yeah. So I'm just standing there. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I don't want to get on one knee. So I'm standing up, and I'm like, man, I need to get the hell out of here. And then more start coming out. They just start walking around the edges of the living room,
Right.
like smaller ones, bigger ones. I'm like, oh, hell no. So then I look over at the kitchen. The kitchen's empty too, but you could hear a bunch of noise over there.
Oof.
And then you could feel that, the crawling on you or something.
Or at least your mind starts to play.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
if you already saw what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing on me, but you could feel like,
Uh-huh.
oh, what if something
Yeah.
jumps out of nowhere?
Exactly.
So
Wait. Rats or roaches?
Oh man,
Oh no!
I
I think it's the same thing.
Well, I'm allergic to roaches, so I say roaches.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So, then I tell them I had to replace the box, so I go to my truck, come back, replace the box, and I'm like, okay, well, your box is gonna come back on in just a few minutes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go outside, and then I'll come back. They're like, okay. So as I'm walking out, and then I start paying more attention to the stuff that's outside. You can see a lot of it has rat feces all over. The furniture is all like worn down and chewed up. Obviously, no wonder they took it all outside, right?
Man.
So then I come back and I'm like, hey, well,
Maybe
everything's
that was
working.
just a patina. Maybe they like
No,
that.
no, you could tell.
Rustic.
You could tell the difference.
Right?
No, you could tell the difference. You can see the little chews from the teeth.
Jeez.
So yeah, that one was kind of like the opposite of.
I'm used to seeing mice and rats in crawl spaces and attics, but rarely you see them inside the house.
Yeah. Have you ever run into anything in the attic?
Oh yeah, like I said, rats.
What was the craziest thing you saw besides rats?
I seen snake skin
Oh,
in an attic.
but you didn't
That was
hear
in
nothing.
Ojai. I didn't see the snake. I just saw how they
Mhm.
every year they
They shed. Yeah.
they shed their skin. I saw that, but I didn't see the snake itself.
But it was lurking.
It was somewhere in there.
Well, I mean, it could have been dead 15 years ago. Who knows?
Hopefully, yeah. But I didn't want to find out, so
What the-
whatever was in there, leave it in there. So, and I've seen dead rats, cats, possums, raccoons under the homes. You see that a lot.
But you never seen a live one,
I've seen live animals under there.
like a raccoon.
I've seen a possum and cats and rats.
And you just continue working like nothing.
You have to.
You didn't
Yeah,
throw
the-
some rocks like Richard at the dog.
They usually run away. They either get out or they hide. They don't want none of that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like they're more afraid of you.
They're more
than-
afraid of you. Exactly.
Mhm.
So just keep going.
Sounds good as long as you don't get bitten by them.
I know, right?
So let's. You want to spin it one more time?
Let's do it.
Let's see what else we got. We got a whole section here or selection. All right, go for it.
Ready?
Give it a good one.
What you get? Karens.
Karens.
All right, that's another popular one that we got.
Yeah.
Richard, any Karens for you?
Yeah, I got a darn story.
That's one. All the time.
So I again go out to the call. It's a nicer part of town. I pull up. It was to restart service, new service. Go into the house, talk to the customer, get the idea of what needs to be done. You know, nowadays it's typically always on, right? You can hit it with your tester and know, okay, it's on, but you know, you still got to do your testing and go from there, right? But at least you have an idea, hey, I have service.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because kind of once you got in, the backyard's full of stuff, inside the house full of stuff. They had been living there. They just restart their service. So I know, okay, I don't got service. I connect to it. There's nothing there. Go around to the side panel, take it off. Old cable, right? What we call RG59. So right away, you know, it's been some time. This is going to be a problem right here, more than likely. Once I've exhausted everything out front, I got to start to think maybe it's in the back. It's the old plant. You know, we have those. They're like these green domes. People have probably seen it. They could be brown. We call them pedestals. And they're different heights, right? Smaller ones, bigger ones. So I go and I look over the back fence. Of course, I don't see anything, and you're struggling to fit in there through all this. I mean, there's
you always struggle,
right? There's washers, there's dryers,
Always
there's
towards the end of the day.
rose bushes, right? So I need to look over this next fence, but I can't get to there with all this garbage, just trash, just random stuff. So I come back, go around front, and I can kind of see through this fence what seems to be that pedestal at the back of their neighbor. It's next to this little storage. A lot of people build those storage to store whatever, lawnmowers, whatnot. So I go knock on the door. Nothing, you know, knock a few times, ring the doorbell. Finally, it's like, what do you want? And I said, oh, you know, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so. I'm working on your neighbor's house. Quiet. Hello? I heard you, you know, and I was like, okay, well, I was wondering if, you know, if I can go through your, no, you know, she cuts me off, and I said, oh, well,
before you finish.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I don't know if you know your neighbor. I don't like him. So like, I know, you know where this is going, right?
Going south.
So I'm like, man, I said, you know, I can understand that. I'm just doing my job. You know, it'll just take a few minutes. If I could just go through the yard, that will be fine. I don't have to bother you. She says, no, it's locked. Okay. So is it possible, you know, if I have a ladder? And she says, no, I don't want you in here. And I was like, okay, like, you know, you start to think, man, about how am I gonna do this?
Right.
So I wait for a little bit. And then she's like, why are you still on my porch? You know, to me, it's like she's standing on the other side of this door. And I'm like, well, ma'am, again, you know, I apologize. I heard you, you know, and I was like, man, okay, you know. So I walk around to the van, and you start to think, wow, man, what am I going to do? Well, that wall, it's like a brick wall. So you know, I think there might be an ordinance, because at the height in the back, it might be 6 feet, but it staggers down, like steps down to the front. So in my mind, I think, well, I'm gonna use the whole easement right thing and go up on this fence and walk it.
And jump over?
Well, I couldn't jump over from the other side because of the stuff. And on this side, I didn't want to upset her, right? So I said, okay, well, she said I can't go on her side. I'm going to get crafty and walk on the fence. Yeah. So I get up on the fence and I start walking. And, you know, we have these climbers that are like 2-inch heels.
The boots.
And they're strapped all the way to the back of your leg. And so that, you know, as it is, it's kind of challenging. And then you put these boots on, right? So I'm climbing with my tools, and I start to step, and I'm walking up, and I get on the highest part of the fence, and I start walking. Well, as I'm walking, I can now hear her cursing and yelling. It's like she went from what I assumed to be grandma to a sailor. I mean, she was really going at it. And so, you know, you're looking, but you're trying to, at least I'm trying to balance, because if I fall, I mean, there's metal, there's scraps, there's rose bushes, right? I'm thinking this is going to be a bad day. And so, you know, one of the mistakes I made was, you know, not checking for dog. So I'm walking, And once I get towards the back, now I'm thinking, okay, now I gotta slide down in between this little house and the fence because the pedestal's right there. So at this point, the lady comes out and she's got a broom. And she comes out and she's still cursing. She's cursing me out. She's gonna call the police. And I keep telling her, man, this is literally gonna take like 8 minutes. You know, I mean, it's not gonna take long.
But the people, they don't understand. They just don't want you in their yard.
Yeah, I mean,
especially because she already had problems with that neighbor. She didn't like the neighbor, so made it even worse.
And so at that house, there was like some wire mesh on both sides. And again, not putting it all together. Like, why would there be mesh? So I get there and I use the roof and the fence and I get down to the pedestal and start doing my work. So at this point, she's got her broom over the mesh and she's not hitting me with it, but she's
broom.
Yeah, she came out with her broom. So she's cursing me out and she's like, I'm calling the cops.
Poke you with the broom?
Exactly. Right. So I'm just like, okay, at this point, I just need to get this done. Right. Yeah. So I see it, it's tagged, get it connected. I climb up, as best I can, get back up on the fence. Now I'm coming back. So all of a sudden, she goes away. She goes in the house. I'm like, oh, she is going to call the police. Mm-hmm. So I'm walking and, I don't know, you get in your own head, start getting wobbly. Door comes open, dog comes running out. And she comes out like she let her dog out. Oh. She comes back out with a broom. And so now it was like a mix, I want to say like a yard dog. It wasn't a pit bull, but it wasn't a small dog, but it was definitely a mix. And one that could jump, because what he was doing is he'd run up to the fence and push up, and like he was trying to bite me.
Oh, he's like,
and so
what this big raccoon doing over here?
Right? And so
you get this
she starts swinging the broom, like she's poking me and swinging, and I'm ready to curse at her because the dog is trying to bite me.
Raccoon or something, you're like, poke him, fall over.
So I'm like, man, lady, you know what? I'm gonna fall down, And she's like, that's the point, And I was like, damn,
I'm gonna get hurt,
right?
Man.
Where was the camera in all this?
So, I get to the end and I start walking down, and she's still threatening me with the police. I just want to get out of there. So then I go to the truck, get my stuff, I go in the house. All right. So I let the customer know, hey, this is what happened, and then they say, oh, she's crazy, she's a horrible person, whatever. Okay, cool. I just want to let you know. So I do whatever I do. I come back out to get something. By this time, it's probably been 40 minutes or so. Well, there's a cop outside. So I'm like, oh, man.
Waiting for you.
Well, his car was there, but he wasn't there. So I assume he was talking to her in the house. Yeah. So she called, right? So, okay, I got to prepare myself for that. And I go and I'm almost done. I'm getting my stuff. Here comes the cop, right? And so I know. He's like, hey, can I talk to you? Yeah. He says, hey.
Is there a big old possum in your yard, in your house?
Does he climb on the fence?
Yeah.
So he, we get to talking, and I tell him, hey, what's going on? And
at this point, is your customer backing you up?
No, they didn't even come outside.
Oh, geez.
They didn't come outside. But, the thing, I told him, hey, I'm working over here. I explained, and then I said, we do have easement rights, so, and he said, I understand that, but there could have been a better way to go about it. She's saying that you trespass. And that's when I said, no, we have easement rights. I said, but by the way, she's hitting me with her broom and she's sicking her dog on me. What is that? And he was like, come on, like, really, man? Like, really? And I said, oh, but if it was, if the shoe was the other way around, it'd be a problem, right?
Of course.
So, he
so you play the race card real quick.
Well, it basically it just came down to that. Well, hey, next time you should call us. By the time you get here, bro, I could have finished 2 jobs. So
like he cares, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So she's in the back still yelling. That's him. That's the guy. And it's like, man, lady, I don't understand why you're so unhappy, Yeah. But she calms him down, and or he calms her down, and it basically just turned out to be, I guess, a Karen, whether it was just me or the cable guy, or like you said, maybe they had a some sort of feud.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
Yeah.
my story.
Oh, that's funny though. Yeah. Well, and then like how he did it with the Eastman rights happened to me one time where this one was actually it kind of baffled me because the main connection for the cable that feeds the different houses was in the front yard. There was no fence. There was no nothing. It was just grass.
But it was their front yard.
But it was on their grass, and then you have the sidewalk.
So on their property.
It was on their property. So similar situation where I come over. Obviously, we always just walk up to them, and it's what maybe 2 feet from the sidewalk, right?
Yes.
And I open it, and I'm working there. The guy comes out, and what the hell are you doing in my yard? I'm like, oh, I'm working on your neighbor's house. They have some issues with their TV service. I don't give a damn. Why didn't you come and ask me for permission? You know, I'm gonna call the police and this. And I told him, well, go ahead and give them a call. This way, when they get here, they can tell you I have Eastman rights within 10 feet around this area here.
Correct.
And then they can give you all the information. This way you're informed and you don't have to come out and yell at me. He's like, screw you, buddy. You're in my damn yard. He still kept on going, right? He's like, I'm going to call the damn cops on you. I'm like, go ahead. Or do you want me to call them for you? And he just got more mad. Just turned around, walk inside. I'm going to go get my phone and call him. Walks back in. I finish what I'm doing, close it, and then I walk away back to the neighbor's house. Cops never showed up. He just needed to come out and express his mind. Obviously, probably retired and
he'd have
like, let me go have some fun with the cable guy.
He was that one neighbor always by the window looking out. Yeah, we get those a lot. But
it's nice to have a neighbor like that because your packages won't get lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least you know what's going on in your
You're looking at the positive side.
Yeah.
As a neighbor, but not as a cable guy.
Exactly.
Have you ever, with the Karen at hand, have you ever been threatened with a weapon?
I personally haven't, but I've heard of some coworkers that have.
So never.
And I know that you were one of them.
Yeah, I've had a rifle, what seemed a rifle pulled out on me,
and a screwdriver, right?
Yeah, the screwdriver was
screwdriver.
But I went to go up a pole one time to disconnect the customer, and you knock on. This is when you would have to pay or we disconnect you. Knock, let him know who I was, and he let me know, hey, I'm not paying you. You do what you got to do. Okay, no problem. But you're not coming in my yard. Oh, okay, no problem. Because it's an alley. There's a school on the other side of this alley. It's a corner house. Yeah, no problem. I'm not here to pull around, go in the alley, start setting up.
Yeah. Put
your tools on. And I can hear over the fence, better not go up that pole. And I'm like, whatever. I mean, how many people, they threaten you all the time. So start to go up the pole. And I get about maybe halfway. And the door cracks open, and I look, and the guy comes out, and he points his rifle. His rifle could have been a BB gun, but at that,
I don't think you level, find out.
You're right, exactly. Nope. And so you're like, hey, yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good. You start creeping down, and
like, I was just playing, man.
I'm just testing you out, right? What kind of rifle is that? Get down real quick, take the ladder, and go down to the safest place and call soup. Is what's going on.
So you called your soup instead of the cops?
Well, I mean, the first thing for me is we were always told to call your soup,
right,
and then the soup would call the cops. But,
right.
That's
protocol.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So
what happened? What did he say?
Get out of there. That's it. Was it's
we'll go another day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or just watch till he leaves and then go.
Let's just get to the safest place and we'll come back,
It's always that.
Oh, yeah. You got to be careful with those, though, because some Karens do come out and even though they just threatening you, you don't know. They might want to shoot you down from the pole.
Exactly.
You never know the mind state of an individual.
Exactly.
Like I said, cable is sounds so simple, or internet or phone, but that's one's only means of communication. and they take it really really serious.
Yeah.
Right. And this is another thing too, that most people when they call in for services, they don't really understand the process and the things that a cable technician or installer has to go through
Correct.
just to get that person's internet or
Yeah,
TV
because
services working.
They're just expecting their stuff to work. Period. They don't want to know about what you have to do or what it involves to get them service or fix the service.
Right.
They don't care about that.
It's not like we go over there and just flip a switch. Like,
Exactly.
hey, check your
Right?
internet.
Exactly.
Well, I
If
think
it was that
that's the
easy-
mindset though, right? Because
Well, like Edison, right? I know they go through a lot of stuff too, but they don't see them. They just flip the switch in their house and like, oh,
They
power's
got
on.
light.
So they think it's something similar, but no,
Exactly.
it's a whole different.
A lot of physical work. A lot of sometimes going into neighbors' yards.
it's a lot of behind the scenes
Behind the
activity.
scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for, right?
Mhm.
And that's why we have this podcast so we can share all the things that we see.
A lot
And-
of stories.
Exactly. Now, one question that Richard usually asks.
So, as far as a job, did you choose this job or did the job choose you?
To be honest, I think I did. I could have just said no and declined the. Somebody mentioned it. They're hiring.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
So
how'd you hear about it?
was it one day you woke up and said, "Hey, you know what? I want to I want
No.
to work in cable," or was it, "Hey, you need to pay this bill, go get a job"?
No. My uncle, he worked for this for the business for the whole different companies throughout the years. But he worked for the industry for 44, 45 years. And at that time, he's the one that brought it up to me, and he said, "Hey, they're hiring right now. If you want to apply and just go from there and see what happens. They have really good benefits.
you were
It's a
just
good
a-
opportunity to, it's a good career."
How old were you at the time?
At the time, I was 20 years old, and I was working retail. I had been there for 4 years already, and I was at that time. I was at that point where I wanted to do something else. Working retail. It's hard.
Did he describe it to you, tell you about the job? And if so, was it that when you got into the job?
It's totally different. He just said, what the job was gonna provide to you
As far as benefits.
as far as benefits and career wise.
Right. But he didn't explain.
But he never explained you're gonna be by yourself with 3-4 people in the house that they're expecting their service to work. Next thing you know, you're on the field by yourself. They're asking you, why is it not working? What speeds am I getting? And
So he
know,
didn't
my
explain to you,
he didn't
"Hey,
explain
you're gonna
none of that.
you're gonna climb a pole.
None of that.
You're gonna go under a
Nope.
house.
Nope.
None of that.
Nope.
Climatics.
I kind of had an idea, just you kind of imagine what comes with the, with the application, with the job title, but nothing like when you first come in and it's like, they explain to you, you're gonna be out there in the, really in the hot weather or cold weather, rainy days. They, you're like, oh shoot, like I didn't think about that. It's gonna be raining. I'm gonna be out there. It's gonna be really, really hot. I'm gonna be out there.
So was this gonna be a stepping stone, and this was just a temporary job, or did you say, "Hey, I'm gonna make a career out of this"?
Once I was in, I noticed, a lot of my coworkers that had been there for a long time, and you kind of figure, why would they stay? Well, it is a career after all. So I just wanted to, make it a career as well. Because all I had was my GED, my high school diploma. So
Did you buy that, or did you?
Or
So
Kmart.
let me ask you:
or Amazon.
looking
Well, there was no
back,
Amazon back then.
looking back, would you have done it again, or would you have made an alternative decision?
No, I would have done it again. Yeah, it's interesting. I would do it again.
Well, 16 years
16
later,
years.
you're still here,
Mm-hmm.
or you're still there.
Yeah,
You're still doing it.
What? They
Still
didn't tell you?
But yeah, so hopefully there's a lot of changes coming into the company and the business, and
You just
we'll
got
see where that's gonna take us.
Yeah, you just got 16 more years before you retire.
I know, right? Probably more than that too.
So on that note, Danny, once again, thank you
Thank you.
for coming over and joining us in our podcast, Shift Over. And we're here, just to share stories
Yep.
about work. And hopefully, again, we can have you back
Absolutely.
maybe, and you can share some more things
Let's
with
do
us.
it again. Salud.
Cheers. And cheers to everybody out there.
Shift over.